Hello everybody and welcome to this video tutorial how to model this microphone body in Shapr3D. What's interesting about this design is the main body is pretty organic. It has a lot of curved surfaces and edges. It's also shelled and it has these ribs cut out or spaces. As always, before I would start modeling something, it's always good to step away for a moment and try to envision what would be the most effective strategy to build something. In this case, I will borrow a little bit from foam modeling. So to build the upper body, I would take a block of foam, cut it into a nice rectangular shape, and then I would start shaving all the sides and corners so everything is nice and round. Then I would core it out. Then I would remove the space for these openings. Then actually separate the two sides from each other and then add the lower part to one half. And the same strategy can be used for the digital modeling too. Very often the manual process very much can inform the digital process. Okay, so let's give this a try. We'll go to this test file here. This has a bottom, a side, and a front sketch already added. Sorry, not a sketch, an image. We want to make sure our units is set to millimeters and our snapping and grid system is all turned on. So as I said, the first step will be to block out this design as kind of like a cube or square-ish element. So I can go to the top view and I will go to the sketch, go to spline, here select control, and I will use now the grid and start drawing and then close this. Very good. So here I do already an organic parameter. Instead of just going linear, and then I will move all these points in a little bit. And by snapping to the grid, as you can see, it's very easy to model this symmetrically. This goes in a little bit more. This point selected can go down. Then this can go back there. Here we can select all three. Very good. There. Okay. So again, we use the grid to quickly snap our points to. I also drew everything further from the outside. Then the grid is more coarse, which makes it easier to put down all the CV points evenly, like left and right in terms of symmetry. And then when we move everything more in detail, we can zoom in and then use the move command to do this more precisely. Okay, very nice. Now that sketch, I will move up a little bit to somewhere around there. Then select it, drag the arrow up, and we extrude out this body. So this is already our foam object, and all vertical faces, as you can see it from the top, have already a profile. Now the top and the bottom face is pretty flat. We would like that to be curved. Let me show you how we can do this. So I will hide these sketches and that object, go to the left view, zoom in a little bit more, go to sketch. In this case now I will select the fit point spline, makes it a little bit easier. Also here, draw with the pencil the first point, second point, and then I release the pencil to draw the last point. The nice thing about the fit point is, as you can see, the spline runs through the points, while with the CV curve only the start and the end point, the spline runs through it, but then the points in between, it's interpolated. So they all have their ups and downs. But here this was very easy. It's a nice curved arc like spline I need, so the fit point is ideal. Now I need to close this, so I draw 2 lines up and go over there. Very good. Okay. Now this I would like to have twice, also on the bottom, but I don't need to draw this a second time. I always try to have the least amount of geometry or sketches created, so that it's the easier the sketches are, the less work it is. And instead of copying the sketch down, I will actually, as you can see now, extrude this out to 30 millimeters, set this to 60 for the diameter. Let's see if this fits. Yeah, this fits perfectly. Okay, and now that solid, that I will simply double tap, then go to copy, rotate it 180 degrees, turn copy off, and move this object down. See, the object is exactly the same, so why do I need twice the sketch? I only need one sketch. Turn this on, then I can go to Tools, Subtract, and say from this object I would like these two be removed. And there, as you can see, we have our surface on top, nicely arced. Now to refine this, we can select this sharp edge and fillet it as needed. I will go to here, Appearance, Show Hidden Edges, there we are. And just want to roughly see where my object is. So looks like my top fillet is pretty close. I can select this fillet there and set this to 20. This might be too much. Sometimes these background images can be a little bit in our way, so sometimes this helps to turn this off. Yeah, 17. This might be the max for it. Okay, very good. And then we just turn everything back on as needed. Good. So we have now the top part and the bottom part. Let's make them both 16 millimeters. Very good. Now the next step we can work on is how do we do these cuts. Also here, this looks like a lot of work for the sketch, but these objects are very symmetrical or repetitive, so we only need one sketch. So we zoom in somewhere, and this is actually a line and an arc. So let's go to sketch. We just do a line there, and I will start drawing this first somewhere else, so it's a little bit easier. And then from here, draw an arc. This line I would like to be horizontal. Line and arc to be tangent. So you see I'm selecting the correct constraints on the right side. Draw a line here, and now this I can move up. And then pay attention to the right side. Drag this in more. Okay. This can go up one more. This is maybe too much. Let's take a look. 3 millimeters. Let's set this to 3.5. I like working cleanly with the grid, so I will set this to 4 millimeters. This edge I would like to be vertical. So now when I move the sketch, you see it updates the way how I want. It doesn't deform as it did. Then here we can bring this in and position this more closely as we need. Very good. Keep in mind I have here a background image I'm using as a reference, and the sketch will snap perfectly to the grid. This image is kind of blurry, so that's the reason why I'm not that concerned that here this line is actually a little bit over it. Okay, so this is actually pretty good. Now all I need, I'm going to do the same. I go 30 that way, and then set this to 60. And you see here I try to double tap, and I have an image that has a transparent background, so it can happen that I double tap also the image instead of double tapping the object. So in case this happens, what really helps is with your left hand, I simply select the object inside the folder with my left thumb there. Then let's turn on copy. 8 millimeters, so we have 4 in between, 16, 24, 28, 32, and 40. Very good. See also here, I only need one sketch, and that's it. Very nice. Okay. Now, how do we do everything on the other side? It's actually pretty easy. So I'm going to select all those, turn on copy, rotate my whole object, set, turn copy off, and move those back to there. And this is now the other trick. This I have to move up a certain amount. So 30 is actually half of it. It might be good to go to front view. There now I can see actually how far I have to move those objects. I just have to be careful which one here I select. So you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. There, okay. So, and move this over a little bit to there. -4. Let's maybe go. Yeah, If I zoom in here, there you can see that everything has a rounded inside edge. From there and from there. So how do we do this? Let's take a look. Can select this edge and round it. Look at that. Okay, perfect. So 2 millimeters. The object is 4 millimeters thick, and I can round it by 2 millimeters, which makes this a perfect circle. Oh. Okay, let's go to there, select it from there. See, this is a perfect circle. Very good. Nice. I go to front one more time. I just draw a line here. I will show you in a second why that line becomes very useful, because I will go to transform and mirror, and then select all these objects. There. Done. And there's my line. That line, because it's on the grid at the center, turns into a mirror plane. Done. There we are. Very nice. Okay. On the left side, this is getting a little bit too dense, so I will make one folder, select all these objects, and with the finger hold, you see now I can drag them all into folder 1, turn folder 1 off, and they're all gone. Very good. Okay. Now the last thing I need to do, there's also something happening on top. Okay, so there we have the same. We have rounded edges on top and from the front. Okay, not a big deal. So we can select this one, go to the front view, make a copy and rotate it, turn copy off. Then I move this over. Again, because I work with clean units, so this is 4 millimeters, I moved it 34 steps. You see this perfectly lines up. I move this to there, copy there and there, bring this over there. So the grid very often can be very, very useful for adjusting these parts. Very nice. So I will do one more folder, and actually those I would like to go into that folder. I go into folder 2, and then on the bottom you see the 3 dots, click it and then say move selected to there, because now I can turn off the folder with the other elements and only see those here. And this lines up pretty good. Also here we need to do the same, just do a rotation and copy. I select actually the folder. See, that selects all the objects. Go copy, rotate, turn copy off, and then move all this down to there. Very good. Okay, nice. Let's turn this off. So it looks like we have all the elements ready for our, how could I say that? Creating the upper body. I will also create somewhere here a sketch. draw this over, draw this to there, draw this to there. This can go over a little bit, and I draw this on purpose to the right side. I don't want these sketches actually to overlap. I rather, in this modeling strategy, move objects to where I need them. There. So this. I extrude. Bring this to there. Bring this up. Very good. This is going to be my geometry that will split the body. Okay, now I'll show you how this works now. So before I cut these grooves out, I have to core out my main object here. There. Okay. And to make the core art work really well, I turn this on here. I select this. I need actually a copy of this. So make a copy. Move it maybe 9 millimeters to the left and then 9 back. So I made a copy at the same position. Oh, I did not. Okay. Oh yeah, I have to release the move command obviously there. So 30, and now this object I move back 30. So there I have a copy. And now I can go ahead and say tools, subtract. From this, please remove this, but keep this block as a tool. There you see, we have only this half. And then I will say tools and intersect. These two do an intersect. Oh, okay, one more time. You, next. You, there. There we are. Okay. Okay, so with this now we can actually go to the tools and then shell. Select this flat face, that's the reason why I split them. Go 3 millimeters. This is maybe a little bit too thick. Go 2. Very good. This then I hide, go to the other one. I can also select the face. Now you see then selectable commands pop up on the left side. There we go, shell, do the same. Very good. Okay, now we have our two shells. And all we need to do now is go to tools, subtract, and say U. I would like everything from this folder being removed. Keep tools, so in case we want to readjust those or make more cuts, I have those elements then still as a copy. Very good. And then we can go to here and do the same. And say these two objects, I would like have the volume from all those being removed. There. Awesome. Let's turn the hidden edges off so it's easier to see. Very nice. We can perfect this a little bit. Select some edges, don't have to select all, and then slide this to the right. And we'll give this 0.5 millimeter of a fillet. Very nice. And you see you don't have to select the whole profile, you just select one edge because all these edges are tangentially connected. It's a nice tangency chain, and then the fillet runs across it. We can do also the same here. There, for example, these fillets look even better. So we will do a very small fillet here to 0.25. And there too. 0.25. There. You see from a distance that's a nice separation line. Okay. So how do we then model the rest, this part here? It's actually pretty easy too. I will draw a line here. Then this is an arc on the left side. We can do this with a fit point. So we start drawing, press and release. And then move these points into position. The more we zoom in, the finer the grid. Really nice. There. Just this point goes up. Very good. Now the next step is important. I select this line. Hold on. This line there. And then I lock it. I do not want these points to necessarily move. So I go to line and arc and draw an arc in. And this arc I would like to be tangent, ideally. And tangent. Can we do this? It does not work. Okay, so this point up there I will unlock. So now the spline and the arc can be adjusted to be tangent. Very good. The bottom part we close. And this point here I need to unlock too. I can move this up now a little bit. Maybe lock this line, and I would like the arc to change a little bit. Radius maybe 8. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this point into the center of that the circle in the image. So what might be easier is actually in this case simply draw a circle, expand this a little bit. There. Very good. Now I can zoom in a little bit more. Looks like this point has to be movable too. So I select this circle center. See here I'm moving all this. This is too much. So we zoom in a little bit. There, we're pretty close. Very good. There's also an arc at the bottom. We can do this with a spline too. I prefer not to connect necessarily always all my curves, so I draw this freely over it like this. There. Okay, so let's hide this and take a look at what we have. Because I have a fill and a fill and a hole. So check this out. This I will extrude up, say by 10, And then this I will extrude up by 5. And then this one and this one I will join together. You can see, very easy. Now the whole object I would like to mirror over, but before I do this, let's go to this view, and yeah, I'm actually pretty close to the original dimension, so this is a tick too much. So we set this to 8. Let's take a look. Yeah, and this one here will be 4. Yeah, that's good. Nice. Everything here I turn off. Then I go to transform, mirror, double tap everything. Next, select actually the interface, mirror along it, double tap both objects, join them together. There it is. Very good. Okay, so that part is modeled. We can hide this for the moment. Turn this back on, turn this on, because we need to create also the other part there too. So make a sketch. We go to spline, but control this time. I do this a little bit somewhere else again. First, draw this down, tap, 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 and release. Yeah, that looks actually very good. Double tap the spline, and we can move it into position. Select the 2 points. I move this up. These points can go down more. Okay, so I need actually, as you can see, more points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 7. So one more time. Start, tap, 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 and release. And there again you can see how I use the grid as a symmetry tool to line up everything. Bring this over. Now this is now better. These 2 dots here, or CVs, I can bring down more. Bring this one up again. Now be careful that you don't lock elements together. I need to close the sketch here too. Very good. Double tap on it and just move it out of my way. There we are. Okay, so select the sketch. Then we extrude this one down 8 and make this 16. And move it into position. There, very good. Okay. And we have to cut the space out for it. So from this view, back or front, I need to create the opening for it. I don't know if I have here a sketch already. There's my image. There we are. So there's actually no sketch, I think, so I hide all these sketches and other images. Very good. And draw via the line tool just an opening. Double tap it, slide it up into the position where I need it to be. There we are. Here's a little trick. So check this out. I will draw a line to the midpoint, and then this line I put right above it, lock the line, select all these lines, make them vertical, horizontal. Now, this line is perfectly centered on the grid and glued to the midpoint, which means when I select maybe this line here and say you should be 11, you see how symmetrically it expands or grows. Pretty cool. Okay. So maybe 9. 9 seems good. What about 10? We have a little bit of the clearance. Can bring this down again. 0.5 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter of clearance. Very good. I'm using the grid based on the zoom level. So you see, I don't really use much of measuring. The grid is just so perfect to do all these measurings while you are modeling. Okay, and the reason why I created the sketch is I use it to cut this open. Actually, I do a new body, extend the body, and then go to subtract and say from this, remove that one. Very good. Few last details. We want to round these edges. Millimeter, that's fine. Millimeter, okay, that's nice and round. Let's take a look at the other object we have here. There we can do the same. I will select this edge and this edge. Round this by a millimeter, okay. And I'm trying to figure out now what will be the best filleting strategy. Millimeter, there. Very good. Yeah, and then if I select this, yeah, you see how it all rounds correctly. Oh, 1 millimeter. We can here do a chamfer, so it's easier to slide something into. We also need that opening through the other object here. So where's that sketch? There we are. So there it is. Cut through and cut through. Very nice. And make a new body, so 8 and 16. No, actually, no, I'm gonna keep it this way. There. That's then up to you how you want to, what for example goes in there, what type of geometry. I will simplify this with an object like this. And then here these I will round a little bit there, and here this I will round to, or I could chamfer it. One nice thing, if you don't like these effects, like the edge rounding, you select it, delete it, and you have your original geometry back. That's a really amazing part about direct modeling in Shapr. Okay, very good. So let's take a look at all our objects we have. This is all one piece. Now that should symbolize kind of like the hinge that would be inside. Here's that one and that one. Very good. Now the last thing what we need to do is, and as you can see, something is not 100% correct there. You can see that the thing actually sticks through. So how do we connect this? Also, it touches both objects. It was actually pretty simple. So we go back to here, and I can, for example, name this to left. Now I always know when I go to a left view, that's the sketch I see. This object here, I would like to extrude. So 23, 46. Select it, rotate it, and now I just need to see this object, bring this one down, snap, there we are. Very good. Okay, what I tried to do that actually did not make necessarily sense. Yeah, so what I have to do is, I just actually wanted to cut something out there, but I need the top part to be removed. Okay, so how can we do this? It's actually still pretty easy. So my design here will modify a little bit. So I slide this to there. Then I will add a line, add a line, add a line. This now I extrude down 23 and 46, double tap this object. Now I rotate 180 there, and then with this visible, this object I slide down till it matches up. I don't necessarily need to fully match it up. I will actually just move it a little bit to there so that this part slightly sits inside, because now this object that I created I can use via a subtract tool. Go to here, from new I would like this one to be removed. Yeah, see, this is actually still perfectly in. Very nice. Now we can do the cool following part. We say you and you join, and we would like to have an interlocking mechanism. Turn this one on and go to tools, subtract. From this one I would like this one be removed. Keep the tool however. Oh, might take a moment. The geometry is pretty heavy. There you see we have a nice kind of interlocking cavity where that part can just slide in. In reverse, we could also have said this surface should have trimmed the top surface off of that part. It just has a design detail. That's the way how I wanted to do it in this case here. Okay, and that basically is how you model this microphone in Shapr3D.